What is up, guys? Sonduren Canadian Rider here. I'm in the Audi R8. We are driving down to Niagara Falls. It is the long weekend, and thus there is a crazy shit ton of traffic. And I'm dealing with this, and at the same time I'm thinking, you know what? The Audi R8 is considered one of the best daily driver cars for an exotic or a supercar. And I want to do a video to talk about all the things that make that car, or make this car, the best daily driving supercar there is in the market. So again, this car was introduced 10 years ago, and since its introduction, it was always heralded as the best daily driver for a supercar if you wanted one. So if you're thinking about, I want to really daily drive my supercar, what kind of cars can I pick from? And there's been a lot of advancements in the last 10 years, especially for Lamborghini and Ferrari, where a lot of their cars, maybe you couldn't daily drive them before, but now their transmissions, the way they've designed them, the engine operating efficiency at lower RPMs, they tend to do a lot better instead of where they used to happily live in the higher RPM. Now a lot of these engines and a lot of these cars are much happier in the lower RPM when you're stuck in like traffic, or you're going stop or start in rush hour traffic on the highway or through city driving. So the R8 was kind of the first foray into this daily driver supercar kind of theme. And a lot of the reasons why this current ones from Ferrari or Lamborghini or even McLaren is the reason why they became these comfortable supercars, especially in this type of scenario, is because of a lot of the features to do with the engine, a lot of the features to do with the transmission, and the overall comfort of the suspension. So for this R8 specifically, and the reason why it became this heralded type of supercar that you could drive daily, was because of so many of the compliant features within this car. So this one is the V8 version specifically. So number one, when you talk about the engine, this engine is not a engine that was specifically derived for this car. This engine came out of the Audi RS series, so more specifically the RS4. So this 4.2 liter V8 lived its life in other sports cars like the Audi RS series of cars, the Audi RS4, and it got ahead and gained its compliance from that, because that car, a lot of people are daily driving that car, use it for spirited driving. So inherently that engine was designed with that kind of usability in mind. The transmission as well, the 6-speed manual transmission, is a joy to row. So if you're used to just rowing the transmission in rush hour traffic, it's the same kind of thing. There's no difference between a Audi RS4 or another manual transmission car in this, other than it's actually way better because it's a gated manual transmission. So when we're talking about the mechanics, the real fundamental crude mechanics of this car, and the transmission and the engine, they were not inherently designed for a supercar. They were designed for a sports saloon. I'm right now in 2,500 RPM. It's completely comfortable here. Obviously, it loves ripping it and it loves climbing to its red line of over 8,000 RPM. But it's very comfortable rolling in these low RPM settings. I'm in traffic right now on the highway, switching gears, like perfectly comfortable. Engine's compliant, transmission's compliant. So the next big thing that you're going to notice right away when you're in a supercar and you're driving is the suspension. So a lot of the older supercars, I remember a few of the older Lamborghinis I was in, they're extremely rough. Like, you're not going to take this to work, guys, like unless you have the smoothest roads in existence. I'm in Canada, so we get potholes all the time here. If you're going over any kind of bumps or anything, you're going to feel it. The magnetic suspension here is a dream, and this is what leads to the compliance of the Audi R8, even with the passive dampers. But these magnetic ones, they're such a joy around town. You do not feel the bumps. It feels like I'm in a tightly tuned sports saloon yet again, right? It is not that supercar levels of stiffness, and you have that ability. I can go ahead and stiffen up the suspension if I want to by clicking the button, but in this case here, for daily driver usability, I'm on the highway or you're going over some potholes and stuff, it's not like your back is going to break when you're going over these bumps. It's very compliant for the type of car this is, and that's one of the biggest things actually when people notice right off the bat is if a car is compliant for daily driver usability, is how is it managing the roads of everyday life, not the perfect smooth track roads and winding roads of like some nice driving mountains that you have, but with the roads that are not so perfect, with grades that are not so perfect, with potholes here and there. And honestly, it does wonders. If I didn't know I was in this Audi R8 and you just put me in an Audi and I was driving this along, I would think I'm in a nice tightly spun sports saloon. I wouldn't think like I'm in this supercar. And that's what makes this car special, is the fact that I can take this every day to work if I really wanted to. If I really wanted to, I can take this every day to work. I would just be paranoid as shit where I park it, who's coming near it, if it's going to get scratched, if someone's going to pop my tire, all those other reasons. But for getting to places, getting to work, taking it to the grocery store, there's no problems with this. Actually, the front has a lot of space too. And that brings up to the other point of why this is such a daily driver supercars, because it actually has a significant amount of cargo space for a supercar. I have this like nice little compartment here. You can put a bunch of stuff in here behind the seats as well. The front trunk actually carries a lot of space to go ahead and put all your stuff in. I took this car grocery shopping. You know, it was a nice day. I took it grocery shopping. I packed some freaking bananas and fruits in the front, and that was it. It was like taking any other car and going grocery shopping. So it has that ability to do these things that make a daily driver, right? It's because you need to not just drive the car, but it needs to do things for you, right? It needs to help you with your chores and help you with the things of life, right? And that's what this car is able to do to a degree. But to a degree, that's, I think, more than enough for the people that understand its major limitations. You're not going to go to Costco and put a fucking bed set in here, but you can go to Costco and pick up some stuff if you need to. Put it in the front, put it back here. So you have that ability. So now let's talk about some other stuff and some key things that you probably think, like Bluetooth. A lot of people use Bluetooth now. It has Bluetooth for phone connection, and with a little $15 adapter, which I'll link down below, you have full Bluetooth for audio and for music, or music and for phone calls. So you have no problem. You're fully connected. I have my Samsung Note 8 connected to this car. If I get a call, it's going to come up right on the system in here. If I want to play some music, I play some music. It works over the surround system in here. So I have no problems with like multimedia features. So that helps in the daily driver usability. When I'm looking at the cockpit and where I'm seating, I'm in very comfortable seats. It is a little bit low, so if you're a little bit older and your back maybe is not too good, like to get in and out of the car, that's the only thing that you know you're in a supercar, basically. Like besides the specialness of the R8 and all this stuff, when I'm talking about, you know, restrictions that make it easy, the car's low. Obviously, you kind of have to like, you know, swiggle into the car, and when you get out, you kind of have to move your butt. You have to turn your body first out of the seat, and you gotta kind of hop out. So those two things are really the only things that I can really think about and say, okay, I'm not in just a sports saloon, I'm in something special. When we talk about the daily driver usability, so that's the only thing, guys. Like other than that, steering wheel is very precise and clear. Like I'm in a great driver's position. I'm very comfortable. It's not like I'm in a bucket seats where I'm trapped in the car and I'm like this. I have, you know, space to move around. Like I have freedom. I have great visibility, so I can see everything in this car. I love that part. Like the hood isn't capturing, or I don't see any of the hood in my view. All you see is the slope down. You just see the road in front of you, and you have great visibility on your side mirrors. I have great visibility out the window in the back, to the left, to the right. Like I have no problem driving this car, taking it where I need to go, doing my chores, you know, listening to my music, getting updates from the radio, picking up my family, picking up my friends. Like you can do everything in this car, like 95% of those things. And obviously, being realistic, you know, you're in an Audi R8. You're not gonna go take it to, again, get some bed sheet or get some like furniture from IKEA, which you can probably take some small furniture again. But I love this car for the fact that it doesn't beat me up. So that's one thing I'll talk about is the track cars, or the cars that are real supercars that you can't daily drive, or any car that you can't daily drive, they tend to beat you up, and that's why people stay away from it. They tend to beat you up, and when I talk about beating you up, it's struggling with you when you want to just drive and get somewhere or do something. Like, let's say the engine, if you're in a really high-sprung supercar, the engine's not going to like when you're at 2,000 RPM, right? You're going to be fighting with the engine all the time. Maybe the transmission isn't the best operating at such slow speeds, you know? Maybe the suspension is really uncompliant when you're going on this one road that you go to always to work, so you're trying to avoid it. Like these friction areas of those cars, they don't tend to help you when you're daily driving. But with this car, there's none of that friction. It can do all those things if you want to go ahead and be a daily driver. But if I want to get out of 6th gear, for example, I want to rev the engine up and I'm in 3rd gear and I want to just push it, and I want to hear that beautiful engine sound, I can do that. Look at that. So there you go. I was at up to 6,500, 7,000 RPM. Now I'm coming back down in 4th gear, and it's just as happy now if I go to 6th. It's completely happy here. It'll stay in 6th gear. It'll cruise at 2,400 RPM or lower when I'm in the city. You know, just chilling. So yeah, you know what? If you're somebody and you're looking and you're saying to yourself, hey man, I want this car, it's my dream car. I want to be able to daily drive it either in the summer if I'm in like Canada for some reason, because it's such an amazing country actually. Or if you're in you know, the southern states, you're in San Diego, one of my favorite cities in the United States, and you want to daily drive this car, maybe because, you know what, your work is only 10 kilometers away or less. You can just daily drive it. I would so do it with this car. You know what, if you really love it on those beautiful days, you're like, let me take the car to work. This is the car to do it in, guys. Like, and it's such a beautiful thing. Just make sure if you're at the office, you have a clear sight to it in the parking lot, so you're always looking after it. But this is the car to get if you're looking for a daily driver supercar. Now, again, there's a lot of advancements with cars that have been released over the course of the last 10 years, and there are other competitors for that. Right now, there's a lot of other options. Even some of the Ferraris, they can be daily driven. And I've driven those Ferraris, the 458 Italia, some of the McLarens. Are they as daily driver friendly as this? No, but they've made huge strides to become daily driver friendly, and a lot of people are using them as daily drivers now, which is great, right? But overall, guys, this car, if you're really looking and thinking about, and you're wondering, can I actually do it? I'm here to tell you yes. Yes, you can, easily. If you want to think about the comparison again, you're an Audi RS and you're in an Audi RS4 in this car in terms of its daily driver usability. So I hope that helped you out. I know a lot of you guys had questions about that, and hell, I would drive this car to work every day if I could, but I just work way too far from my house to bring it. I just don't want to put that many kilometers on this car, so I don't. I just, take this car out in the weekends on nice days. But again, if you're in a climate where you can have some sunny days and you don't work that far from home, take the car out. This is the type of car to get. He can get you to do these places, and honestly, you'll get an appreciation when you're driving this thing around for all the things that it can do, because people are looking at you like, you drove your R8 to the grocery store? What are you doing? Oh yeah, because I'm going to the grocery store. I'm shopping. I can put it in my frunk. Yeah, my frunk. So I love the car for this, which is amazing. Besides all the other reasons I love this car. So I hope this video helped you out, especially if you're really considering purchasing this car and the daily driver usability of it is super important to you. I hope this video kind of puts that to bed and answers your questions. But if I didn't answer all your questions, you have some additional questions as to, how you can use this in your scenario, let me know down in the comments below. I respond to all the comments, guys. You guys know that already. Hope this video, guys, helped you out. I will see you guys in the next video.